The shifting landscape of European defense has rarely been as visible as in the recent French decision to procure the GlobalEye airborne early warning and control platform from Sweden's Saab. Across Northern Europe and France, this development is seen not only as a technical procurement for an aircraft, but as a symbolic move towards a more interconnected, self-sustaining, and strategically autonomous European defense ecosystem. For audiences in Sweden, Finland, Norway, Denmark, and France, the GlobalEye transaction resonates as a reflection of evolving trust, shared security objectives, and a recognition that European nations increasingly look to each other rather than exclusively to the United States for next-generation security tools. France's legacy E-3F Sentry aircraft, derived from the American E-3 platform, served for decades as the eye in the sky for French strategic surveillance. These aircraft provided long-range detection, but belonged to an earlier technological era, characterized by less efficient radars, higher operational costs, and limited cross-domain coverage. For France, the decision to shift toward a new platform was inevitable. What was not inevitable was the choice of supplier. The traditional assumption would have been that France would remain within American solutions or rely on domestic industry. Instead, the French procurement agency signed a declaration of intent with Saab to acquire 2 GlobalEye aircraft, with the possibility of 2 additional units alongside a wide framework of technical cooperation and long-term maintenance integration. The message was unmistakable. Sweden did not merely build a system comparable to traditional American solutions, but one that surpassed them in several operational dimensions. GlobalEye represents a distinct paradigm in airborne surveillance. Built on the Bombardier Global Business Jet airframe, the platform is smaller, lighter, faster, and more efficient than heavy legacy AWACS aircraft. Its Eye extended range radar, mounted atop the fuselage, is an active electronically scanned array system capable of tracking low observable targets, including sea-skimming missiles, stealthy aircraft, and micro-movements on land. It is capable of surveying air, sea, and ground domains simultaneously, providing a comprehensive intelligence picture rather than a narrow radar horizon. For France, whose strategic responsibilities extend from the Baltic approaches to the Mediterranean and further into Francophone Africa and the Indo-Pacific, this broad coverage aligns perfectly with operational needs. For Northern European audiences, particularly in Sweden and Finland, the sale to France is interpreted as recognition. Saab, known for its Gripen fighter and the A-26 Blekinge-class submarine, has long been respected within regional defense circles. But for France, a major military power with its own aerospace giants such as Dassault and Thales, to select GlobalEye is seen as validation of Swedish systems on a continental stage. It strengthens the perception that Northern Europe has matured from being a consumer of external security guarantees to being a contributor of high-end capabilities. In an information-driven battle space, the provider of superior sensing technology holds exceptional strategic value. France, for its part, sees the acquisition not only through capability metrics, but also through a broader political strategic lens. The United States remains its most powerful military partner, but French strategic thinking has consistently emphasized strategic autonomy. Former French President Charles de Gaulle pushed France out of NATO's integrated command. Contemporary French defense white papers routinely reference the need for European defense sovereignty. Acquiring GlobalEye from Sweden therefore fits into a long-standing French vision that Europe should be able to field its own advanced defense architecture independent of extra-European influence. In many ways, France's interest in the Swedish system can also be viewed as a counterweight to American and British dominance of airborne surveillance doctrine. This transaction is also interpreted as an early stage of a wider defense industrial convergence between France and Northern Europe. With Sweden now fully integrated into NATO, cooperation between Nordic surveillance assets and French expeditionary capability may become increasingly routine. France's large naval presence in the Mediterranean and Atlantic could be complemented by Swedish and Finnish air surveillance capability linked via NATO networks. The combined Air Operations Center in Norway could eventually integrate French-owned GlobalEyes into a European ISR grid. In such a scenario, Europe would operate a ring of integrated surveillance spanning from the Arctic to the Strait of Gibraltar. There is also a deeper industrial implication: the possibility of shared development of next-generation sensors, radar algorithms, signal fusion systems, and satellite-embedded ISR pipelines. Thales and Saab are both world-class in radar and electronic warfare. A partnership between them would represent a consolidation of European excellence in sensing technologies. If French GlobalEye operating experience feeds back into improvements for the Nordic fleet, a cycle of cross-national innovation could emerge. Rather than each country reinventing systems separately, Europe might begin to standardize and co-develop frameworks, much as the United States and its allies have long done for their aircraft and missile ecosystems. For audiences in Northern Europe, the French involvement also signals that their technological contributions are not limited by geography. Sweden's GlobalEye already serves the UAE and has drawn interest from Canada, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia. The French acquisition further demonstrates that Swedish sensors are not only fit for smaller nations or niche roles, but worthy of a Tier 1 military power. This expands Sweden's strategic industrial profile. The country is no longer merely a producer of compact, affordable systems, but a competitor in the highest tier alongside the United States, the United Kingdom, and Israel. Naturally, challenges remain. The declaration of intent is not yet a finalized contract. French defense procurement cycles can be politically sensitive and funding dependent. Competing domestic aerospace factions may resist reliance on external suppliers. Interoperability with existing French command and control frameworks must be ensured. There are cybersecurity considerations. Shared sensor data equals shared vulnerabilities. These challenges are real, but they are practical rather than strategic. They can be solved through policy, engineering, and training. The long-term implications matter most. If France proceeds with the acquisition and begins operation of GlobalEye within its air and space force, this could catalyze a broader shift toward intra-European procurement. Other nations may follow the example. Germany, underserved in AEW capability; Italy, heavily invested in Mediterranean policing; Spain, responsible for Atlantic approaches; even Poland or Romania, managing the eastern flank. If such a trend accelerates, Europe may evolve into a network of complementary, interoperable airborne sensors across multiple nations, a true continental surveillance shield. The GlobalEye acquisition, therefore, is not simply a procurement note. It is a statement about the future of European security cooperation. France trusts Sweden. Sweden delivers to France. A northern democracy provides surveillance for a southern great power. the continent moves closer together. It is a step toward a Europe that does not merely integrate politically or economically, but strategically and technologically. A Europe that sees farther, reacts faster, and depends less on external actors. A Europe with its own eyes,